my students and I, two of my students and I, two of my ridiculously awesome, wicked smart students and I, going live on at least a couple channels, YouTube and Facebook. And this is in between classes, if you will. We have a class that meets on Thursdays at Northeastern University, the College of Professional Studies, and the course is Social Media and Brand Strategy Implementation. We meet on Thursdays from 1:35 to 3:25 in Boston at Northeastern University, social media. And we decided, and the students agreed, thank you, P2 and Icy, to join me remotely. We're recording via Riverside live, but we'll also have the recording and we can share it with their classmates. Our class as a whole can see this and we can replay it on other social media channels as well. We're doing it as an experience, as an experiment, and we've done it in the class. We've gone live, and we thought, hey, let's try it in between the classes in which we get together in person. Let's do it as homework, if you will. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to introduce you to P2 and Icy in just a minute. I just want to tell you all, whoever is watching, whoever is listening, about the class. And the class is Social Media and Brand Strategy Implementation. And these are grad students, and as I say, wicked smart, ridiculously awesome grad students, College of Professional Studies, and it's a full semester, 12 or so weeks, and we, in, what are we, 6 weeks, I think, in, guys, approximately, and we go through the end of June, and this is Monday, May 11th, so we're a little more than a third of the way through, and some of the assignments are, and we're going to talk about one of them in a big way today, but a couple of the assignments that we're not talking about necessarily today is a social media audit of a brand or business, and that could be a small mom and pop store or a big well-known brand. But that's what the students are working on right now in groups, and they will also be working on, for those same brands, a social media campaign. So they'll come up with the creative and put it together and working together. There's about 15 students in the class, so 3, 4, 5 groups, I think, is what we have, 5 teams of 3 or so, and they'll be presenting all of that work in class, the audit first, and then the campaign. And the other big assignment is the one we're going to talk about today. And there's a lot of other things going on in class when we meet and in between classes, homework and online discussions, et cetera, et cetera. And they read my book, 20 Jobs, 20 Lessons, and again, have some online discussions on that. But we're going to talk about personal branding today. And personal branding is almost a semester-long project they'll be presenting at the end of the semester, ICP2 and their classmates. And it's all about establishing yourself on social media. We are, each of us, like it or not, we are brands, and the encouragement and inspiration I try to provide to my students is to level up your personal brand, take it to the next level, be conspicuous in your presence online, because that's going to help you get a job or a promotion. It's going to help you become known. As Mark Schaefer would say, he has a book called Known, and Mark, I think, would agree wholeheartedly that it's important to be known, especially in today's day and age, and there's so much content and so much content out there and so much competition to be seen and heard and vying for those jobs that, of course, students are after once they graduate. Again, being known is a big step towards being successful. So I'm going to we'll ask Icy first and then P2, and you also can feel free to go back and forth. No necessarily rules of engagement here, but Icy, I was curious in terms of what we talked about online already, what you could share today live and also being recorded to replay later on. What about your own personal brand? How do you plan to level up your presence, if you will, in the next couple of months or so in this class, and at the end of the semester present a version of your personal brand on social media that's a notch or 2 or 3 higher than where it is now. Tell me and share with us, if you don't mind, Icy.
Hi, my name is Lucy. I feel like nowadays social media is someone's digital brand, digital identity. Now, so much information about someone in social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So when it comes to social media and personal brand, I realized that I already give a certain image of me through the posts, through where I go, the places I visit, the travel, the concerts. It kind of reflects of who I am. When it comes to Instagram specifically, I think that my Instagram is mostly about my hobbies, about traveling, about aesthetics. I care a lot about the great harmony, the balance in colors in between different posts. But when it comes to LinkedIn, this is where I share a lot about my professional setting, about a lot of opportunities to network, to share your accomplishments. I usually post if I earn some certificate or finish a course, I usually post that in my LinkedIn account so that I can keep my networking updated and see what others are doing. So I think that it's really crucial to use everything that nowadays technology is giving us to. So this is, I think that it's your social media is literally your social business card. It's your digital business card. And in the next couple of months, I would like to share more a lot about my accomplishments, about things I learned during the classes on my LinkedIn. I think that would be very helpful to develop it more because Instagram is more about your personal, it's more about your hobbies, about your what you like and what you don't, while the LinkedIn is more of the professional setting. So I would like to focus more on that during this course. And I would also like to experiment with different reels or on TikTok, well, TikTok and reels on Instagram to see how it will go. And yeah, this is about my.
I see. That's it's terrific, and you have so much to share as a personal brand. I'm going to mention to both of you. I noticed while you were talking, I put myself on mute. So just make sure to mute yourselves when you're not talking. I can do it from here. Again, whoever is watching, listening, this is partly why we are doing this today, to go through the exercise of recording live, using Riverside, and all the technical matters that we have to be mindful of while we are recording. Icy, I wanted to ask as a follow up, have you done video yourself, or like what we're doing now? Have you done much of this, and how do you feel about doing this kind of content, video, and yeah, I'm curious if you've done any in the past, and how you feel about it, and what your plans are for the future with regard to video.
So when it comes to reels specifically, I tried a bit in the past experimenting with reels, but didn't really go well because my Instagram profile is private. So I mean, mostly it's just my followers are looking through it. You can't really boost it. But when it comes to TikTok, I post there sometimes. Some of my videos get really a lot of like views, some of are not. Actually, I have an interesting fact about me that last year during summer, I went to my favorite girls group, the Blackpink concert, where I was able to, where the cameraman showed to me when it was like the dance like competition between the sets. So I asked someone next to me to film me and I posted on TikTok. And apparently, the next morning, I'm seeing that it has over 1 million of views. So that was an experiment. I'm still like it's been a year almost. I'm still getting likes. I'm still getting comments. It was really interesting to see that like famous people commenting on that video. So that was really interesting to me. I tried to post more after that. I started getting more followers and more engagement, but it depends on the content I'm posting. So I think it's really experiment and more when it comes to and Instagram.
I see. That is a very interesting fact, and you might be surprised your professor knows who Blackpink is. I am very interested in all genres of music, and I live a little bit like a teenager, and again, I'm very familiar with Blackpink and K-pop and that genre, and so a great example. And what I will add to that, as from the social media professorial standpoint, is that's what we would call linking up, and it's when you can engage with someone with so many followers, like they must have millions and millions, and it benefits you as well. So it's done sincerely, genuinely, from the heart, passionately. You love them, you were there, but yeah, you want to get a little attention. Little did you know you'd get that much attention, and you've heard me say, my feeling is social media levels the playing field, and that means you could, it takes a lot of work, but you could theoretically have that many followers, as many as they have. Sure, they have the benefit of being celebrities and famous, but if we post regularly on a consistent basis on a multitude of channels, and we have stories to tell, talent to show off, skills, intelligence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, everything that you both have, and I'd like to think I have as well, and pretty much everyone has. We just got to be willing to put ourselves out there. So I applaud you for getting that going viral, and keep it up. Then maybe that you can tag them again. Maybe you can tag others as well, that who are famous or not, because that is one strategy to getting more attention, tagging others.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to experiment more tagging with more content. But I think this class will teach me a lot about developing my own personal brand. So I think it will be very helpful to develop my TikTok, Instagram, and other social media accounts.
Yeah, because what I would add is, think of that lesson learned from tagging Blackpink, and who professionally in the industry in which you want to work, and maybe it's in music. I'm not sure. That we haven't had that discussion in terms of me knowing exactly what you plan to do post graduation, but it might be in that industry. So if it is, keep tagging them. But who else could you tag in industries in which you want to work? And if it's the music industry, on LinkedIn is where I'm going. On, and showing off your skills, talents, ambitions with regard to the job. And again, for all I know, it could be performing, singing, dancing. I don't know. But whatever it is you want to pursue, show that off, and in a way that makes sense, that's strategic, and lends itself to the channel on which you're sharing content, and tag other big names, if you will. So for me, I tag people like Mark Schaefer or Seth Godin, or these are real people, but I don't necessarily tag them every day. But I could tag David Meerman Scott or Chris Brogan or Seth Godin. And these are people who have, let's say, hypothetically, not necessarily true, but 1 million followers, and I only have 1,000. I'm just approximating and being hypothetical. So, and asking them questions, discussing things with them, getting to know them, that is how you get more of an audience. And again, I use the term linking up. I learned that long time ago in social media. There's ways to do it, and you're well on your way. I see. I'm very impressed with that story and what you've shared with us today.
Thank you very much.
So P2, as they say on talk shows and talk radio and newscast, over to you. I'm curious, P2, what your experience with personal branding on social media has been, what your plans are for the near future during our semester together, our educational journey together, and almost, how do you feel? All what Icy and I just talked about, and maybe I'll have one or two more shorter questions for you both after P2 answers this, but give us an example of your personal brand and what your plans are for the future, if you don't mind.
So basically, right now, what I have planning on for the basic, I don't have too much right now plan. So right now, what I have for my personal brand will be travel. I like to travel. I like to plan my travel perfect and to just like enjoy what I'm gonna see or what I'm gonna or for the future people to what they're gonna if they're gonna go to a place, what are they gonna what places they can look or what places they can go or whatever. So the main platforms that I will use will be LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. Those are the main ones that I would use. LinkedIn will be most for like just like I'm not sure about it what I will post for LinkedIn. I'm just like thinking about it and everything. But for sure, for Facebook will be storytellings of what happened if I go, I don't know, in Rome, if you go to Piazza España or something like that. So people will know little things about that place or just like remember what is gonna happen or what is gonna happen or what little details. So if you go to that place, you will know that specific thing. And on Instagram, as always, it will be only just pictures on of the place or what will be the best hotel to stay for the price and everything. So people will see what's the best places to stay, what the place will look like, or things like that. And that's the main thing that I will do for my personal brand basically because I love travel and I love to see what I do to the people to see what I do so they can see what I like. So that's the main thing that I have right now in my mind. And I'm excited to just learn more from this class because it's you will teach us like more things about what's the best thing to post on LinkedIn, what's the best thing to do to get like more views or more likes or people to connect with you on LinkedIn or whatever platform it is. So I'm excited to just learn more and more and little tips just to get involved with the people around you.
P2, I have a couple thoughts when you talk about traveling. There's a lot of influencers who make a living, or certainly it's an income stream for them, one of many maybe, traveling and doing what you just said, recording your experiences, sharing them, the experiences with others, because people are inherently, implicitly, whatever the right word is, curious, innately curious about people's travels. And prior to them going on the same trips, they love to see what other people's experience was. Or people like myself and my wife, who we don't travel much at all, we vicariously enjoy watching influencers travel all around the world. So that is one thought. And I had another thought. I guess this is for both of you, is because you said learning what gets attention, and I mentioned to Icy tagging people, also going live, be like we're doing right now, because live is gets people's attention. It most of the channels notify your audience, and if you hear occasional ping on my other monitor, I see it's notifications that people are tuning in, people are listening, people might be saying, great job to P2 and Icy for this great conversation about social media. So going live is it's not always easy. There's a lot of technical issues that can come up when you go live, but it's a very impactful way of getting attention on social. let me ask you each just at least one other question, perhaps two more, depending on time. And tell me if you need, well, I think if you need time to think about it or want to change the subject, feel free. But I'm going to ask you about influences who you follow, or role models, or celebrities, and so I guess I'll say this: whoever wants to go first, great, and that'll buy time for the other individual. If you're both silent, I can talk about who. Well, I will talk a little. This will buy you both some time to think about it. For instance, I follow, again, I mentioned Mark Schaefer and Seth Godin and Chris Brogan and David Meerman Scott, and there's so many who I follow in my industry, who I've gotten to know over the years, and I certainly trust, and I certainly, in many cases, have made friends and colleagues out of these people by following them on social media. There's also many celebrities that I follow, and I occasionally talk back to them. I mean that in a positive, friendly way, meaning talk to them. That's the social and social media. For instance, Peter Frampton, a great rock and roll star. I did a video about him once, and he actually got back to me, and that was awesome. The other day, Richard Blade, he is a DJ on Sirius Radio, and I said something positive about him, and he liked my tweet, if you will. And I'm doing that all the time, frankly, and I learn from these people, but I also connect with them. So I'm curious, ICMP2, are there any inspirations of yours that you can say you follow and enjoy following and maybe have conversed with, or if not, that you doing that with now, who might you do it with in the future? Who do you learn from? Who do you get entertained by or motivated by? Either of you can take that question.
Um, it's funny because you know what? I don't follow anyone. I don't follow any influencer. I don't follow any role model. I don't follow any actor, anyone. So it's funny because every time that I say to someone, like, I don't follow anyone, they look at me weird. Like, you don't follow, I don't know, Rihanna? You don't follow Justin Bieber? I'm like, no. Just because I don't know, it's just not my vibe. Even though, like, I can like Rihanna, of course, I like Justin Bieber, but it's not like, oh, I have to follow them. No, it just I can go one day to his profile, just research them, and just go and see what they post. I don't know, something like that. But I don't follow any.
So you don't have FOMO, what is it? FOMU, fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out.
No, I'm just go to the. There's like some websites they tell you every gossip, and they just go, and because I know that I go every single time what gossips and everything, like, oh, someone is getting married or someone is gonna get a baby. I just go to that one. So the first thing that comes to me on my Instagram is that website. So I just gonna go there and see what other gossips are around the world. But I
You
don't have.
you have more discipline than I have, me too. I love social media as much for following others and listening to others as I do sharing my own content. I will say, if you were doing it for business purposes, as you know, when you do your audit for a brand or a business, part of that audit is a competitive analysis, and that is hypothetically following other brands and businesses who are competitors of your brand or business, so that you can see how they're using social media. It's not necessarily following and engaging with them, but it is monitoring them for a little bit. So because I have done this for a living for so many years, I can justify some of the businesses and brands I follow, but I also follow many just because I like celebrities, I like athletes, I like artists, and I'm a very social guy, I guess. I see. How about you? What's your answer to that?
Well, I do follow a lot of people on social media. I mean, I don't like have a certain like specific like favorite influencer, because I follow like tons of different influencers, tons of different celebrities. I also like following like these groups on social media, like Boston activities, or like things to do in Boston, or like things to do in Rome, or different like travel bloggers, different fashion influencers. Specifically, I have one in mind. It's Korean influencer. Her name is Jihoon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but she's my favorite influencer on TikTok. I follow her. I've been following her for the past, I don't know, like more than a year probably. She posts a lot about her lifestyle content, her fashion, like some just different things. So, yeah. On Instagram though, I follow a lot of brands like Dior or Gucci, but when it comes to TikTok, mostly it's just like lifestyle influencers that I like to follow and see like what they're doing. Also, I follow a lot of, depending on where I'm right now, like if my goal is getting more, like having a lot of like strength training, going to gym, workouts, I follow different workout bloggers, workout content where people in that industry tells us a lot about nutrition, the workout, the other things. I usually follow them too.
Yeah, and how we use social is unique to each of us because we all have unique taste and desires and interest, et cetera, et cetera. What I try to stress to clients and students is it does behoove us a little bit professionally to follow others because we can learn from them. So, whatever field after Northeastern University, maybe you're going on to get a PhD, I don't know. But whatever field you aspire to eventually, I would encourage you to follow the thought leaders in those fields, the influencers, and learn from them. And that could be other professors too. You might get tired of listening to me in the classroom and don't want to follow me after this semester, but I'm always glad when former students follow me, and I can follow their journey in their professional life. It's just a great way to stay in touch, social media in general. But I do applaud you, P2, when you said, that you are very limited in who you follow, because that does give you more time to take care of yourself and focus on your responsibilities, because social media absolutely can be a big distraction too, and take us away from some of what we have to do in terms of priorities and responsibilities. Can I just end it with one short question, and it could be as simple as one word or one sentence or 1 minute. Is there anything you have learned in the class so far that you want to talk about or could share with others, or advice you could give others based on what you've learned so far, or hey, advice you can give your professor if you want? Anything, final words, I guess, and then we'll wind down. We're at about half an hour, and that's a good amount of time that we've talked for. But either one of you want to take that question?
Sure, I can go on that question. So for me, from the past models we've been learning in this course, what really stood out to me is being authentic. Because I think that in the world of artificial intelligence, where everything is curated and polished, I think it's a new trend that makes people like you more because you're being yourself. You're not being perfect. You're not being polished. Even like your writing, when you're posting something and you write something, most of the people are now using different artificial intelligence, which is also okay because I mean that's what the world is giving us right now. But I think that the new trend is staying yourself, being yourself, showing your not only your best sides, but just being truly like yourself, authentic is the new trend to us. And this is the one thing that stood out to me from the past model.
For me, it will be also authentic because that's one of the best things that we've been learning, that it doesn't matter like if you're just looking at your best version on your social media, but you also have to show your worst version, but also it's just like it doesn't matter if you just did something wrong on social media, or if you just did something that is not correct. It doesn't matter if you fail something or whatever. At the end of the day, it's gonna be just you, the one that you wanted to post it. And if you really care about the bad comments on everything, it depends on you. But at the end of the day, is be just yourself all the time on social media, and just be, yeah, just have fun at the end of the day, so yeah.
Both of you, P2, that was great. And I see, different perspectives, but the same answer. And I love that, being authentic and genuine and just be yourself. I think I mentioned in the classroom, that I'm a big fan of Noah Khan, who's a folk rock singer who has exploded onto the scene. He's been around for, say, 10 years or so. Since age 17, I think he got his first recording contract, but he's huge now and just sold out 4 nights at Fenway Park. First artist to ever do so. All his songs are ranking high on the music charts. And Rolling Stone did a interview of him, and the headline was something like, he's become famous just by being himself, something like that. I paraphrase. I'm trying to remember the exact words, but he is just himself, and that means he's authentic, he's genuine, he's the real deal. And it's not easy for us to put ourselves out there. Any one of us. By the way, he would be another one of my inspirations. Absolutely. You can be inspired by, all kinds of people from all different walks of life. He inspires me because as a human being, he's putting himself out there and talking about and sharing things and writing lyrics, songs about things that, not everybody would talk about, like mental health and insecurities and idiosyncrasies, etc. Putting yourself out there on social media is a big leap of faith for people, and we learn so much about ourselves, we learn so much about others, and it's now in society, it's more and more being valued that we see each other for our real selves. And when we talk business, I've told you guys that trust is a scarce commodity. It's hard to trust anybody anymore. So authenticity leads to trust in your personal and professional lives leads to success. That's my experience, that's my research, and that's my advice, if you will, to you guys, but I don't have to tell you. You both know. You both said it. Be authentic. Just be yourselves. Do not be afraid to be yourselves. I want to thank both of you. ICP2, I want to thank you for joining me today for this conversation. It's been Professor Cargill from Northeastern University, but from my home office today in Sudbury, Massachusetts, talking with IC and P2, and all of you who have listened in and watched. Thank you, and I hope more of you will be watching and listening in on the replay. I'll make it available on social media, and this is how we do it, IC and P2, and this is how anybody who's watching and listening, this is how you do social media. Do not be afraid to put yourselves out there, and in this case today, we're talking about personal branding. We were live on YouTube and Facebook and recording on Riverside, and we'll share it elsewhere and with as many people as we can afterwards. ICP2, I thank you. Your mics might not be on. I just want to say thank you. You can turn your mics on to say anything before we leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. I'm going to hit stop now. Thanks so much.